back up for 1 second. The last table we talked about the value in early intervention with parents. Is the same true for kids? Or do the gaps in children become even bigger gaps in adults? Is early important?
I think the research is really clear. Early intervention is critical. But where I think we can start is really with the emotional milestones of children. How do we help children develop a real sound basis and an infrastructure to be emotionally resilient? And there are critical stages where children that start in infancy, where children have to learn about attachments and relationships. And then it moves from that is the fundamental core of it, and as they develop the relationships within families, within mothers, with schools, they can then move outside of themselves. So that's a really critical component. And what we know about early childhood is they develop these internal relationships. They can then take risk outside of themselves, whether it is other people or even academic challenges and the challenges that the outside world poses to them.
It's not just about checking off a list as they get older. It's about relationships outside as well.
It is. It really is about laying down the foundation for the child, connected back to family and community for sure. And to answer your question, the gaps in fact get exponentially bigger as the child grows. We look at the work of children and families as the heart of what is essential to strong and vibrant community development. That's the lens through which Urban looks at it. But I say again, children and families at the heart of that. And what we know from years and years and years of experience is the answer to your question is absolutely yes. The laying down the proper foundation and making the proper connections for children as early as possible, intra-utero, if possible, will really lessen the challenges, again, exponentially the other way, lessen them if we get it right in the very beginning. And getting it right really is about where we start in the development of their social, emotional health first and cognitive skill and ability thereafter. Now, I didn't know that. These guys taught me that.
So how do we follow them from stage to stage, Dave?
Sure. So our friends in early childhood are the beginning of school, and our work with adolescents is kind of finishing school, right? And the reason that gap can look so big at the end of the pipeline is because the acquisition of these skills and attributes that our young people need really build on one another from stage to stage. And so we've got to have a right early start for our young people, but we also can't fool ourselves that then when we do that, we're finished. Because the data also tells us that if we don't keep adding to that foundation with the right kinds of supports and opportunities and relationships throughout the developmental process of a young person growing, then the early gains can be lost or at least diminished, and young people won't be ready for what they need to be healthy and self-sufficient and civically engaged in life as young adults and as adults.
So what is working? Are there things we should be duplicating? Are we copying and teaching each other?
Yes.
Well, we've just Urban Strategies and Loom Institute are partnering on a project in the 6106 zip code called the Flants Center. And I think it's the Flants Center, we're starting with, we have children 6 weeks of age through 6 years of age. But within the programmatic model, it's a strong basis and understanding of the emotional development of a child, so they can develop social skills and then they can develop the academic skills. But embedded in this same model is a strong health component. We need to think about the health and well-being and mental health of children, of very young children. And then when we weave the parents, and you've heard all the strength and the importance of parenting at the last table, that when we start growing children and supporting children, it's easier to get parents involved because they want the best for their child. And so I think at the Flants Center, we're able to really put a working model in place it's one child, one family, one neighborhood, and we'll grow from there.
I think that the reason that what we are trying at Flants is an emerging best practice, and externally people say that to us, and that is what we are aiming for, is also because we have rooted the development of this facility and the development of the program in a community with enormous challenges, but a community of enormous opportunity. The 63106 zip code is one of the most vulnerable zip codes in this state. Now, that vulnerable is a nice way of saying that it is a very low income.
We've had the disparities of all kinds.
Exactly, exactly. And so the Flants Center is a state-of-the-art facility with state-of-the-art programming that bridges income levels with excellence, because it's a mixed income center, and we have been very deliberate and very purposeful in building the programmatic, the program to a level of excellence and the facility to a level of excellence. So that is the first thing that parents and prospective parents are attracted to. So we now get the opportunity to bring in people from very different backgrounds who only care about one thing, and that is excellent outcomes for their babies and other babies. And we rooted that in a very challenged community. And now that entire community cares about what is happening inside of that beautiful building for their babies and the babies of the community. And it's a teaching place. I think that the best practice there is, in essence, that the development, the extraordinary development of children must be owned by a community. It is not a one-off or endeavor.
For the better.